Okay, so I'm going to just take a couple of minutes here to screen capture PolyLearn and just talk directly off of PolyLearn about your assignments for this quarter, as well as some in-depth information about a couple of things that I think will be pretty valuable to you going forward. So, some general information there about the course. I'll leave that for you to read. We do not have a course text again this quarter. Um, we will just be using select journal articles, but I do encourage you to pay attention to the APA requirements. We'll be doing a lot of writing in this course. You'll be submitting 3 manuscript drafts. APA will be a part of those drafts. You will be scored on your ability to produce manuscripts that are compliant with the APA manual. So if you don't have a copy of the APA manual, you might consider that, or at least familiarize yourself with the resources from Purdue. Okay, on to assignments. There will be 100 points worth of in-class activities, and these will total 20% of your grade. There's going to be 3 quizzes. The quizzes will be week 3, week 6, and week 9. And the quiz topics are listed here on PolyLearn, and they include threats to internal validity and single case research, quality of single case research design, and the role of meta-analysis in single case research. Um, and we'll do a practice quiz next week, week 2. We'll do a practice quiz in class so you can get a sense of what these quizzes will be like. The quizzes will be worth anywhere from 10 to 15 points. There'll be a combination of short answer and multiple choice, but I will give you a practice quiz next week that will not be worth any points, but will give you an idea of some of the different types of questions that might be on the quiz. Um, Also in this course, you have to do 3 project updates. And these project updates are going to occur week 2, week 5, and week 8. So the first project update will be next week. You would need to come to class with a few PowerPoint slides updating us on your progress so far, and any data that you've collected, any changes that you made to your proposal based on feedback that you received during your project proposal. This probably won't be very long. Should only last about 5 minutes. But as we go along throughout the quarter, you will be using these project updates to present your data and to analyze some of that data and talk about the implementation of your treatment. So the first one will be next week. It will be pretty simple. There's a Dropbox on PolyLearn for you to upload your project update, and each one of these project updates will be worth 10 points. We're also going to do an in-class graphing activity. This will be an individual activity where you will get some sample data and you'll have to graph it following APA format. We will have some instruction in class, and I'm developing a podcast too. So you will get some instruction on this, but you will be doing an individual in-class activity, graphing some sample data. Similarly, I sort of added this assignment after your research synthesis. I think it's important that you have some additional practice on formatting figures and tables in a Word document using APA format, so there will be an activity for that. Well, I'll give you some text, and then I'll give you some figures, and you'll have to transfer those figures into APA format and embed them appropriately in the text, providing appropriate titles and captioning. And we'll have some instruction on that before we go forward too. You'll also be doing a visual analysis activity, and this will be week 2, so next week in class. You will complete an individual visual analysis activity responding to some sample data. We'll have a lecture where we talk about different visual analysis techniques, and then you will be asked to analyze a variety of data and complete an activity. And so you'll do that in class next week. You will also have quite a bit of writing this quarter. Um, the first big piece of writing that is due is the article evaluation assignment, and this is going to be due week 5. And this is going to require you to read some research and to complete a formal evaluation of the quality of that published research. So let's move down now and look at the article evaluation template. So this is the template that you will use to develop or to review the article. So you will provide the article APA citation here, and you also identify the type of single case research design that the article used. So multiple baseline across participants, or reversal design, or alternating treatment design. And then you will look for in the text some of these quality indicators, like researchers demonstrated systematic manipulation and control of the independent variable. Was that present or was it not present? And then you will provide some rationale as to why you thought it was present or why you thought it wasn't present. And that could be some examples from the manuscript itself. You could provide some quotations. You could paraphrase why you think that's present or not present, and provide relevant page numbers. And so you'll go through and you'll do that for all of these quality indicators, and you'll also do it for some of the data. So you will talk about the stability of the data and the trend of the baseline data. You'll talk about the variability of the data. You'll also do a little data analysis where you'll look at the immediacy of effect, and all of this will make sense as we go through some of the content in this course. But this will be your first major assignment. It'll be due week 5. So after you evaluate the quality of the research design and the strength of the evidence, you're going to answer these reflection questions. And you can complete this assignment in this template. In fact, I would prefer that you would complete this assignment in the template. It doesn't have to be a formal written manuscript. Complete the assignment in the template and then upload it to Polylearn. Okay, so that's going to be your first formal assignment. Here are the articles that you could choose from. So you could choose any of these articles. People could do duplicate articles. That's okay. But this is an individual assignment. So please do not work together on this. I'll be adding a few more relevant articles in the coming days. So this will kind of grow. There should be about 15 or 20 options for you. But you choose one of these options. You could choose an option that's related to an IV of interest or a DV of interest. Perhaps you could choose an article that uses a similar design that you're using in your EIP project. But you need to select one of these articles and complete the article evaluation for this. So you need to select one of these articles and complete the article evaluation template and upload it by week 5. Okay, so that's your first major writing assignment. The next major writing assignment is your introduction draft. Okay, so this is going to be the draft of your EIP manuscript. A draft of the introduction of your EIP manuscript. And we're going to spend some time in class talking about how to write a draft of a research article. You should have some experience with this from your research synthesis last quarter. But you'll be co-developing this and co-writing this with your EIP project. Okay, so I do want to show you a couple things related to the introduction. Okay, the first is a scoring criteria. You can also see the scoring criteria for the article evaluation that we just talked about, but here is the introduction rubric. So I encourage you to familiarize yourself with this rubric as far as what needs to be included. It should look familiar to you. It's very similar to the rubric that we use for your research synthesis. Okay, also related to your introduction, which is due week 6, I do want to go down here to week 6 where your introduction draft is due. For every section that you submit, every section of your manuscript that you submit, you are going to do a peer evaluation. Okay, so this one is around the introduction. It's a Google form. You do have to put your email address in this form, and then you are telling me related to the introduction, what percent of work do you feel like you contributed, and what percentage of work do you feel like your partner contributed? And then you're going to specify any concerns that you have about working collaboratively with your partner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what you estimated your work to be, and I'm going to compare that to what your partner estimated your work to be. And hopefully these estimates are close. I do not want you to work on this with your partner or talk to your partner about this evaluation. This is a way to make sure that folks are contributing uniquely um, and equally to this project. So you will need to fill one of these out every time you submit a draft, every time you submit a section draft. Okay, so you will do the same thing for a methods section. There's a scoring criteria for the methods section, and there's also a peer evaluation for the methods section. You will do the same thing for the results draft. And then your final writing assignment will be a fully edited draft where you've gone through and you've responded to my suggestions. So that will be due during finals week. Here's some worked examples I want to make sure that you have access to. There's worked examples for introduction and for the methods section. These are from past manuscripts. There's not a results section for here for some reason, so I will be sure and add a results section so that you would have a worked example for each one of the sections that you'll be working on. I think that could be helpful. Keep in mind, similar to last quarter, these aren't perfect examples, but they will give you a good idea of what a successful draft of these different sections look like. What else do I want to tell you? So we went over all the writing assignments and the in-class activities. The scoring criteria are there. Let's see. Here's just kind of the week by week breakdown. You can see the different readings for each week. Be sure that you're familiarizing yourself with these readings, as they will be connected to the quizzes. I feel like there was one more thing that I was supposed to be sure and tell you, but I can't really remember it, so I'm sure you guys will have questions and it will come up in class going forward. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about assignments in class. The assignments for this course are pretty straightforward. Many of them take place in class, and the writing assignments are going to follow a pretty specific process. So I don't know that we need to spend a lot of time talking about assignments. You can always go back and reference this podcast if you have questions about assignments, and of course you can email me, and I would encourage you to email me if you have any questions about next week. Next week you need to come to class with project update number 1 already uploaded before class, and then we will do a visual analysis activity in class, and you will either turn in a hard copy or upload that. So that's it. That's all I have. If you have any questions, please feel free, reach out to me. And if not, then I will see you and talk to you next week.